What's going on? If you are not acquiring customers every single week, week in, week out, then this is for you. All right, so fundamentally, two ways you can, well, there's 6 ways you can search for clients, but 2 that I want to talk about today is going to be outbound and inbound. All right, so outbound being like you're actively reaching out to people and getting a certain small percentage to respond, and the other version of that is paid ads, which is fundamentally, again, outbound. You're displaying stuff. It's just you're paying a platform to have the eyeball rather than doing the manual work to get the eyeball. But the result is more or less the same. A certain percentage, like 1% click from the ad, and then they go through the process. Whereas when you're doing outbound, you have 1% that might respond to your outbound response, and then it comes inbound, right? So what I want to talk about here is the number one thing that I see people that mess this up is that they do insufficient volume. And so what I want to do is give you a rule of thumb that I'm coining the rule of 100, all right? And what it basically states, and I haven't heard this from anyone, so I'm claiming it as my own, all right, is that if you do 100 of something every day, you'll likely get better at it, and you'll likely be doing enough that you will be able to start seeing an outcome. So in theory, if you were like the biggest master of all time, you would need to do less volume to get the same outcome. If I was the best paid advertiser of all time, then I wouldn't need to do a ton of paid advertising to get a lot of sales, right? Right. To the same degree, if I was the best cold caller in existence, I would need to do far fewer calls in order to generate the outcome they're looking for. More sales, right? But here's the twist. How do you think you become the best paid advertiser of all time? How do you think you become the best cold outbound, cold messenger, cold emailer, cold caller of all time? Volume. And so the volume begets the skill, but the thing is as you get better at something, you like doing it more. And so this is actually a circle that continues to reinforce itself. And the thing is that most people do not start with the first thing in high enough quantity. They do not do sufficient volume, which is why I'm introducing the rule of 100. And so basically it states that if you are not acquiring, like right now, if you're not acquiring customers, then you're not doing the rule of 100. It's very simple. If you're not spending $100 per day on advertising or doing 100 reach outs per day, then how do you expect to grow? Right? And I'm saying this, you can add zeros, you can remove zeros, whatever, but the idea is that at a base level, and this is per person, this is per human being, right, that you have that's working. If you are not doing this, then you're not going to grow, right? And so most people do outbound and they do it one time a week or one time every 2 weeks when they feel motivated. They don't do it every day. To the same degree, they're doing paid ads. And they're like, well, I spent $100. It's like, so what? You got to spend $100 every day, right? And then what's going to happen is you're going to suck in the beginning, and you hope you can break even. And then over time, the skill will improve, and then you will get more back from your volume, right? But everyone wants to have a huge skill and do low volume to get their outcome, but the reality is that to generate the skill, you have to have the volume, and then in so doing, you do more volume times the skill, and the skill gets better, and then the outcome continues to increase. And so right now, if you're not doing 100 outreaches a day in your business, or you're not spending $100 a day on ads, how are you going to get clients? Like, what's the plan? Like, how is this working? And so one of the number one things is like when someone's reaching out to me and they're like, man, I wish I could get more clients. I'm like, well, are you doing either of these? First question. And if they're not, then it's like, well, then don't pass go. Do one of these two. Pick one. It doesn't really matter. The thing is that if it's just you running in your business, then this is going to be the cheapest thing to do because it's just selling your time, right? In the beginning. And you'll be able to do this, and then you could teach another person, and then another person, and then another person how to continue to do this because you will then have the skill that you can drop into their brains and so that they can replicate the same results you will. And reality is they're not going to replicate the same result. They'll probably do it half as well or a third as well, but if you can still get 30 to 1, 10 to 1 returns on on the reach outs efforts that you're doing, then you can stand to have a 50% as effective person, but have 10 people doing it, right? At the end of the day, most people, especially when you're in the earlier parts of the business, the people you hire aren't going to be better than you are at these things. But 10 of them will be better than you are at those things. And that was one of the biggest jumps I had to take, is that sometimes you have to take a short step back when you go from you not selling to somebody else selling, right? But you can quickly go from 1 person to 3 people to 5 people selling because you are no longer the bottleneck or the constraint. All right, and so just recognizing that and using the rule of 100 as a rule of thumb for any of the acquisition efforts that you are doing, I guarantee you will serve you in your life. And so it's like if you have not spent $100 every day, or if you have not done 100 reach outs every day, and you are struggling to get clients, then do that first, and then keep doing it. Not one day. Do it every day for 90 days, right? Do it every day for 90 days, and I guarantee you, you will have customers by the end of that process. All right. So anyways, lots of love. Hope that was valuable for you. If you did enjoy this, drop a like, drop a comment, and I'll see you guys soon.